Okay, I'm back. We're at the point we're going to take the cylinder head off of this motor. So in order to do that, I have a book here to reference. It's been a while since I've been in one of these CB750 motors, so I'm going to reference this as I go along. But basically, what I need to do is first get everything aligned with the cam so I can get the cam out. And so that means I have to take off the points cover and rotate the engine until the timing marks line up on the crank and the cam. Once I have that, I'll loosen the rocker arms and I'll be able to get those all loose. Then I can remove the rockers themselves. And once those are out, get the cam out. Well, I'll take the gear off and get the cam out. And then when the cam is out, I could get to all the head bolts and hopefully get the head removed. So that's kind of what my plan of attack is. Most likely this is going to be a time lapse. I actually just noticed something sitting here, which is kind of interesting. I noticed this bolt right here that is holding the cam down is not fully seated. So that's interesting. It appears to be up a little bit. So might take a further inspection on some of these as I take them apart and look and see what's going on there. But I'm going to kind of follow the book. Most likely do a time lapse on this and hopefully get this head off and we can see what's going on. Alright, my battery died during this time lapse, but something I want to point out. In the manual I have, it says only remove these 4 bolts to get your rocker assembly up. That's not the case on this. There's actually 8mm head bolts that are right here. In order to get the shaft out, to get the rocker arms out, you have to remove all of those. And you can see over here how that captures the rocker shaft. These 2 bolts actually go through the hole in the shaft like that, and then this bolt centers it. So just something to pay attention to. Got the rest of this all over here, but I'm going to go ahead and continue taking this apart. Another thing I noticed, I do have the cam lined up with the appropriate timing marks here, but I can't seem to extract that cam gear bolt. It actually hits against the head. So I believe what I got to do is once I get this all loose, I have it loose, I should have enough that hopefully I can manipulate that once I get the timing chain off and take that other bolt out. So for now, there's some oil up here because I've been turning the motor over. But I'm going to go back to the time lapse, but I just wanted to point that out because that actually stuck me here. So I'm going to go ahead, get these out. One other thing I did, because these rocker arms wear to the cam lobes, I actually took some these tags I have, and I labeled each cylinder intake and exhaust so I don't mix up any of these. I'm gonna put one of these with each one so I know which, when I reassemble it, which rocker arm goes where. So just another little hint: cylinders 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have one intake and exhaust for each of them. So just trying to be smart about it so I can put it back together with hopefully little issue. So I'll get back to the time lapse here. Okay, I'm picking up here where I left off. I got the cam out and was away for a few days doing some other things. So I've got to go and get the rocker arm assemblies and cam tower. I'm not sure exactly what you call that, but cam support. Get these off. And then we're going to take a look underneath here. And then that'll give us access to all the bolts and nuts that hold the head to the motor. So in the manual I have, I'm going to follow this pattern in reverse, basically, to take everything apart. So I keep the anything from warping. So I'll go ahead. Let's take a look at these. I wanted to look at these because there's these little pucks underneath here, these rubber pucks. They're supposed to stop some oil from leaking out, and I had a lot of leaking. So I'm assuming there was either torque on this head or those pucks were not seated right, and that was part of the reason I was getting a lot of the oil. So let's take this one off cylinders 1 and 2. So there is the first one removed, and you could see the puck is attached here, and I don't know how sealed that was. Man, that thing's hard as a rock. That is not soft at all. So I'm sure that was part of my leaking issue there. And then the one in the middle, that thing's hard as a rock too. So we'll get this off. I'm just going to set that there for the time being. That does not look like that was making a good seal. So this is 1 and 2. I don't want to mix these up. This is 3 and 4. And those ones as well. They're not stuck to the top here, but you can see they're pressed in there. And those ones don't look too bad, but I really wasn't having much leaking from those cylinders. So the other thing, there's some dowel pins in the motor around here. There's some O-rings that go to these oil drain holes, which that thing's flat as could be. So that could have been another source of some leaking. Go through, I'll get this whole head cleaned up when I have it apart. So I am going to set this. You can see there's another O-ring here, which would have came out of, that goes around these bolts here, which the other O-ring must be sitting around there. So I'm going to put this back because I don't want to screw up the orientation on these. Actually, that O-ring was from around that dowel pin. So if I take this off, it doesn't even seem like it wants to fit there. Let me see. Yeah. Huh. I'll have to look at those O-rings and see. It was definitely stuck to this cam tower in that location. So wondering if that was sealed correctly as well. But I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. We'll get back to the time lapse. and get this head off. Alright, I got a couple bolts here I'm struggling with. So down in the hole where these pucks are, they're a Phillips head, hex head bolt. I'm having a real tough time getting those out. So I tried using my impact driver, screwdriver, and I can't seem to find the right size socket that fits on those. So I'm gonna work on figuring out what tools I need to get these four. 1, 2, 3, 4. The last 4 I need to get out and like loosen everything and pick the head up. So let me figure out what that is, get those loose, and then I'll get back when we take the head off. Okay, not exactly how I wanted this to happen. As you can see, I have the head removed and the jugs removed from this motor. However, let's go over to the bench. The cylinders and the head are still connected. So whatever was bonding the head to the cylinder, you can see I screwed up and chipped a fin there. Not real happy about that, but it is what it is. I'm gonna have to separate these on the bench, I guess. I could not get the head on the exhaust side to separate from the cylinder. So I'm loose back here. There's a gap in here between the intake side, but no matter what I did, I could not get the other side to separate. So I guess at this point, this is gonna go on the bench, and I'm gonna just have to take my time, work around there. I was using a super thin putty knife to try to not damage either surface, but get that gasket to break. There was a lot of silicone on there. I don't know if it's evident in here with the camera, if you could see down inside there. So I just kept working that around, and the cylinders, you can see the base gasket on there, and the cam chain tensioner, all that just slid right off. So like I said, not ideal, not the way I wanted to get it out of there, but it is out of there. So I haven't really looked in great detail at these pistons. Like I said, just popped this off. Got a lot of carbon. Look at that carbon buildup on there. Boy, that's a lot of carbon. So, not planning on taking the motor all the way down, but I'll take the pistons off. I'll clean the pistons up, measure everything, determine if any new rings or not, reassemble. So, quite a bit of oil leaking here on the side. Wipe that up. There's an O-ring that sits around there. That could have been one of the culprits for my oil leak as well, because that just ran all down the front of the motor and underneath, made a mess. So I don't know, at least up to that point. I'll take a look at everything, see what I'm working with, and then we'll get back at it for another video. Follow along, like, subscribe, and watch me continue to go through this bike and see what happens. Hopefully we're riding it here for spring. Okay, stupid me, I'm back. So, I was having trouble getting the cylinders separated from the head on this motor. There are 22 bolts on the top, not 21. So, as I was working on this, got a little excited, thought I had them all out. I missed a super obvious bolt, which is right here. There's a long bolt that goes through the head, down into the cylinder, and threads into that hole right there. So I took that bolt out. What do you know, the head came apart. So, stupid me, amateur mistake. I broke a fin trying to get that off. Something I'll have to deal with. I mean, the bike is gonna be a rider. It's not a pristine concourse restoration we're going for here. So let's take a look at this now that I have it off. So looking at the cylinder, you can see there's O-rings here. There's oil passages that go up through the motor. These are all kind of beat up, the O-rings that are in here. The cylinders, here, let's get a flashlight. I don't know if we can see in the cylinders there. So, probably run a hone through them. Like I said, I'm gonna measure some things. They don't look horrible. Again, this bike ran excellent, so it's more of a cleanup on this one. Got the head off. Let's flip the head over so you can see what's on the bottom. See if I can do this with one hand. I'll set the camera down. Okay, here's the bottom side of the head so we can see what it looks like. Head gasket. It was stuck. There's a couple spots made to pry the head over here and over here. See, there's some more silicone. Some of those passages where oil travels up through the top. There's a lot of silicone you could see here where the cam chain goes up through. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, I'm going to put some Honda Bond on some of this when I put it back together. But I feel like you can see how that O-ring is squished weird. And look, there's a lot, let's pick that off. There's a lot of silicone around that O-ring. And to me, that looks funny. See how it's flat like that? This one's flat like that. I feel like some of these weren't properly set. So, I'll have to pay special attention when I go back through here. I clean all this up, make it all look good. I got new valve stem seals I'm gonna put in. And just give everything a good cleaning, a reassembly, a check, put it back together, take the pistons, decarbon the pistons. They look like they have a lot of carbon on them. Check ring gap and all that good stuff. So that's kind of where I'm leaving it for now. I'm not gonna really make a video of cleaning all this stuff. It's kind of basic. I might do a video when I pull the valves out of the head. Something show what I'm doing to get the valves out and get the new valve stem seals on and all that. But for now, I'm gonna kind of let this be. Take my time, clean it all, and when everything's ready for reassembly, that's probably when I'll kick back up with a little bit more video. So till then, make sure you like, subscribe, so you know when these videos come, and I'll just keep at it and hopefully get a little bit better content as we go. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon.